So, welcome everybody to week 3 of the April online program for the alumni of the Sunshine Coast Health Center up here in Powell River, BC. And this month we've been talking about the drug experience, what it's like to be high. And it's a fascinating topic because I've actually talked to a lot of counselors and asked them, like, do you ask your clients what it's like to be high? And it's amazing the responses I get. A lot of times it's like, are you nuts? So if we talk about that, they'll get triggered. And other counselors tell me, oh no, we can't talk about that. That's just deviant, right? That's part of the addiction. That's a bad thing. Can't talk about that. And it's fascinating. Like, no one seems to want to talk about what is the most staggeringly obvious thing about the addiction is this experience of what it's like to be high. So this month we've been looking at it, and so far we've looked at William James's interpretations of being drunk, being high on nitrous oxide. We've looked at this U.S. State Department researcher who asked crack cocaine addicts what it was like to be high. And this week, I'm just thinking about the Government of Canada and the famous Ledane Royal Commission on the Use of Non-Medical Drugs in Canada, and its interim report trying to describe why all of these young people were doing these, LSD and marijuana and quaaludes and all that kind of stuff, right? Like, what was going on? What would they feel? And if you remember, during your time here as a client, I read a paragraph from the report, the Ledane Commission report, in which he described it as, there was the reason that the Ledane Commission believed that young people use drugs was because religious values, the religious beliefs had fallen and something needed to replace it. And so young people were finding this in the drug experience because they kept talking about this identification with something larger, something to which one belongs as part of the human race. And if you remember, I talked about the great Nobel Prize winning addict writer Eugene ONeill, and he came to the same conclusion. He said, why do I drink so much? It's because when I drink, I find a sense of belonging. I find a connection to something bigger than I am, right? And this idea of connecting to the universe. In fact, you can find it in Cheech and Chong movies, right? They make fun of it, but it's the old idea of cosmic consciousness, right? So I am aware of my place in the greater scheme of things. And this is a great appeal. And when we talk even with LSD addicts, what is it about the LSD experience that is so appealing for you? They talk about this. Same thing that Gerald Ledane found in the Royal Commission. When he talked to a lot of drug addicts and said, well, why are you using these drugs? And they would talk about this connection that they felt when they were high. They didn't have it when they were clean and sober, but when they're high, they just felt so connected to the universe. And all those songs from the 1970s and 60s, the drug songs about feeling at one with the universe, and we're all stardust. And to be able to get that actual feeling, I mean, that's a pretty profound appeal of the drug. So there's a third way of looking at the drug experience, this connection to the universe, this cosmic consciousness. And that's it for this week. So next week we'll come back with one more example.